Have you ever noticed that with a narcissist, you're the one who always has to text first? It feels like a small detail, but it's not. To them, texting isn't just communication, it's power. By making you reach out, they keep the upper hand. This isn't about convenience, it's about control, feeding their ego while leaving you anxious, waiting for their response. Narcissists want you to text first because it confirms their importance. Every time you hit send, they get validation. You're thinking about them, missing them, prioritizing them. It doesn't matter if the message is casual or serious. What matters is the signal. To them, your action is proof that they still matter, and that sense of relevance fuels their ego. It's also a way to test your loyalty. If you're always initiating, they read it as devotion. They want to see how far you'll go to keep them engaged. Narcissists don't crave balanced communication. They crave proof you'll chase them. Each time you reach out first, they mark it as a win, reinforcing their belief that they control the relationship dynamic. By waiting for your text, they avoid vulnerability. Reaching out first would mean admitting they want connection. That's too risky for them because it exposes need. Instead, they sit back, letting you do the work. This way, they maintain the illusion of independence while still getting the attention they crave. It's a subtle trick that shields their fragile ego. They also use this tactic to create anxiety. When you wonder, should I text them? Do they even care? Your focus stays on them. That mental energy is exactly what they want. Narcissists thrive when others feel unsettled. By holding back, they manipulate your emotions, ensuring you keep them at the center of your thoughts while they remain distant and in control. Sometimes they turn this into a reward system. If you text first, they may respond warmly, giving you just enough attention to feel valued, but if you don't, they might go silent or cold. This inconsistency is intentional. It conditions you to keep initiating, chasing those rare moments of kindness. It's like training with breadcrumbs, keeping you hooked in place. Narcissists also want you to text first because it lets them measure your desperation. They pay close attention to timing, how quickly you reach out, how often you double text, how long you'll wait before breaking silence. These details feed their sense of power. They're not just reading your words, they're reading your patience, your need, and your emotional investment. Texting first also shifts responsibility. If a conversation dies or tension rises, they can say, "Well, you reached out to me." This shields them from blame, placing the burden of effort on you. They avoid accountability while enjoying attention. To them, your initiative makes it easier to twist narratives. It's a safety net that always puts them in control. Another reason is they love keeping you guessing. By withholding, they make you wonder if they'll ever text first. This uncertainty creates emotional hooks. You start analyzing every interaction, asking friends for advice, doubting your worth. Narcissists want that confusion. The less predictable they are, the more you chase stability. Their silence becomes a tool to keep you unsettled. They may also use your text as a timing advantage. If you reach out, they can decide when to respond, immediately or hours later. That delay isn't random. It's a way to remind you they're in control of the pace. Whether they reply quickly or make you wait, both choices reinforce their dominance. You're left hanging while they enjoy playing with time. For narcissists, texting first also signals submission. It's a small but symbolic act, telling them you're willing to do the emotional labor. To them, relationships are battles of power, not connections built on equality. By keeping you in the role of initiator, they frame themselves as the prize. You chase, they receive. That dynamic feeds their superiority complex. They may even brag internally about how you always text first. It becomes a private trophy, proof they've trained you to seek them. Narcissists love invisible victories like this. They won't always say it out loud, but in their minds your effort is a scoreboard. Each text you send is another point for them, confirming they've won control of the game. Texting first also keeps you emotionally invested. When you start conversations, you naturally feel more attached. The narcissist benefits from this imbalance. They contribute less but gain more, letting you carry the weight of connection. It's emotional economics. Your investment grows while theirs stays small. This ensures they always come out ahead without much effort at all. They also know texting can feel vulnerable. You risk rejection when you send that first message. Narcissists love this because it gives them the chance to withhold validation. Even a delayed reply can sting. They use your vulnerability as leverage, turning something as simple as texting into a power play. To them, your hesitation is proof of their dominance. Another reason is they enjoy watching patterns. They study how often you text, what times of day, and what tone you use. This data helps them exploit your behavior. If they notice you panic when they don't respond, they'll delay more often. If they see you crave reassurance, they'll sprinkle in just enough warmth. Your texts become clues they use against you. Sometimes they turn texting into silent tests. They purposely wait days without contacting you, just to see if you'll break first. If you do, they take it as confirmation of control. If you don't, they may retaliate with anger or accusations. Either way, they twist the outcome to suit their ego. The test isn't about love, it's about dominance. Narcissists also love the appearance of being chased. In their world, attention equals worth. When you text first, it feeds their fantasy that everyone wants them. This image of desirability is vital to their identity. They need constant reminders they're special, and your texts provide that validation. It doesn't matter what you say, the act of reaching out is enough. They may also frame texting as a privilege. Responding to you, in their mind, is a gift. This twisted logic flips the script. Instead of communication being mutual, they position themselves as doing you a favor. When you initiate, they reinforce this illusion. To them, the power dynamic is clear. You ask for their time, and they decide whether to grant it. Another layer is control over your emotions. By letting you text first, they influence how you feel. If they respond warmly, you feel relieved. If they ignore you, you feel anxious. This roller coaster is designed to keep you hooked. They're not just managing conversations, they're managing your moods. It's manipulation wrapped in something as simple as texting. At the heart of it, narcissists want you to text first because it keeps them in control without lifting a finger. It saves them effort while feeding their ego, testing your loyalty, and manipulating your emotions. What feels like a small habit is actually a carefully crafted game. And once you recognize it, you take back the power they never truly had. Sometimes narcissists will purposely ignore your texts after you initiate. This isn't forgetfulness, it's a tactic. They want you to feel unimportant, to question yourself. When they finally reply, you're so relieved that you overlook the disrespect. By controlling when and how they respond, they maintain power. Ignoring you becomes another silent message. I decide your worth. They may also use texting to manipulate availability. If you text first, they can reply at their convenience, making their time seem more valuable than yours. This creates an imbalance where you wait and they choose. Narcissists thrive on that hierarchy. Your eagerness contrasts with their detachment, reinforcing the illusion that you need them more than they need you. Another reason is they fear rejection. If they text first and you don't respond, their fragile ego takes a hit. But if you text first, the risk shifts to you. It's a clever way of protecting themselves. They avoid vulnerability while still getting the validation they crave. You carry the risk of silence while they sit back safe and satisfied. Sometimes narcissists turn your texts into evidence. They screenshot, save, or quote them later as proof you're the one chasing. In arguments, they'll say, "You're always the one who reaches out," using it to frame you as needy. What was once genuine effort becomes ammunition. For them, every message is a tool, not a conversation, reinforcing their twisted narrative. They also like to control the pace of intimacy. By forcing you to text first, they dictate when connection happens. If they're not ready, you wait. If they want attention, they respond. This uneven rhythm keeps you dependent. You never quite know where you stand. That uncertainty is exactly what they want. It makes you cling harder, hoping for consistency. Narcissists may also withhold as punishment. If you upset them, they won't text at all, waiting for you to break the silence. Your eventual message becomes proof of your guilt, even if you've done nothing wrong. This tactic twists responsibility. Their silence creates pressure until you fold. In their eyes, your text is an apology, even if you never said sorry. They may even test your limits by stretching the silence longer each time. At first, it's hours, then days. They want to see how much you'll tolerate before reaching out. Each extension is a way of training you, measuring your patience, and deepening your dependency. The longer you wait, the more power they feel when you finally give in. Another reason they want you to text first is control over narrative. Whoever starts the conversation often shapes the tone. If you initiate, they can respond strategically, guiding the interaction where they want it to go. It keeps them reactive, never vulnerable. By letting you set the stage, they twist your words into opportunities to manipulate the flow. They may also see texting as a scoreboard. The more you reach out, the more points they rack up. In their mind, this proves they're in demand. They don't care about mutual effort. They care about winning. Conversations aren't exchanges. They're competitions. When you always text first, they celebrate quietly, seeing it as evidence of their superiority and control. Narcissists love efficiency in their manipulation. Texting first requires effort, but waiting doesn't. They sit back, conserving energy while you do the work. This imbalance benefits them. They contribute little but gain much. It's manipulation disguised as laziness. To them, your willingness to text first is proof that they can keep receiving without ever truly giving. Sometimes they'll even punish you for not texting. If you go silent, they may accuse you of neglecting them. Ironically, they expect loyalty without offering the same in return. This double standard keeps you on edge. You can't win. Because whether you text or not, they twist it against you. It's less about fairness and more about maintaining dominance. They may also play games with timing. If you send a message in the morning, they'll wait until night to reply. If you text late, they respond instantly. This inconsistency makes you second-guess your timing. Soon, you're overthinking when to text at all. That mental effort benefits them. It shows how much space they occupy in your mind while you adapt. Another tactic is shifting the blame. If you question why they never text first, they'll say, "You're better at starting conversations," or "I didn't want to bother you." These excuses sound polite but hide the truth. They want you to carry the weight. Blame shifting disguises laziness as consideration, masking manipulation as thoughtfulness to keep you compliant. They also know texting first can feel like a chase. By keeping you in that role, they maintain the illusion that they're the prize. It boosts their ego to see you pursue them. Every text confirms the imbalance. They're the one being chased, and you're the one doing the chasing. This is exactly how they want relationships to feel, unbalanced and one-sided. At the root, narcissists want you to text first because it feeds their deepest need: control. They avoid risk, conserve effort, and gain validation without lifting a finger. Texting seems small, but to them it's symbolic. It means they matter more, and you're the one proving it. Once you see this pattern, you realize the power was never really theirs. Sometimes narcissists purposely respond vaguely when you text first. Short replies like "okay" or "k" are meant to frustrate you. The lack of effort makes you push harder, sending longer messages to keep the conversation alive. They give little while you give much. This imbalance isn't accidental, it's control. They want you over-investing while they stay distant and detached. They may also ghost temporarily, ignoring your texts for days, then suddenly reappearing as if nothing happened. This cycle keeps you off balance. You're relieved when they return, forgetting the pain of silence. But this vanishing act is strategic. By controlling absence and presence, they teach you to accept inconsistency as normal. It's not love, it's training. Another tactic is to make you feel needy for texting. They'll say things like, "You're always the one chasing me," turning your effort into criticism. This reversal makes you second-guess your actions. Instead of appreciating your initiative, they weaponize it. But in truth, your texts were never the problem. Their manipulation was. Their accusations are deflection, not honesty. They also love to keep conversations shallow. When you text, they respond with surface-level answers. This leaves you unsatisfied. craving more. That craving is exactly the hook. The less they give, the more you chase. By keeping conversations empty, they maintain control. Your pursuit of depth becomes their leverage, keeping you emotionally hooked despite the emptiness. Sometimes they'll even test your reactions by ignoring important messages. You ask a serious question, and they dodge it. They want to see if you'll keep pushing, revealing how badly you need answers. To them, your persistence is proof of control. The more you press, the more powerful they feel. Silence here isn't avoidance. It's a deliberate test. They may also exploit your empathy by claiming busyness. "I've been so busy" becomes their excuse for never texting first. But somehow, they always have time for others. This selective availability reminds you that you're not a priority. The excuse masks neglect as responsibility. It's not about being busy, it's about ensuring you remain the one to initiate. Narcissists often use texting to maintain a breadcrumb trail. They'll give you just enough to keep you interested, never enough for satisfaction. A random emoji, a one-word reply, or a late-night message keeps the door cracked open. You're left holding on, waiting for more. But those crumbs aren't affection, they're control. They know scarcity makes you cling tighter. They may also delay responses strategically after you text first, replying only when they sense you're about to give up. This timing creates relief and resets your hope. It's not coincidence, it's calculation. They monitor your reactions, then swoop in to regain your attention. The goal isn't connection. It's ensuring you never fully detach from their influence. Sometimes they'll use humor to deflect. You text with sincerity, and they respond with jokes or sarcasm. While it seems lighthearted, it's avoidance. They sidestep real connection by turning everything into entertainment. You end up working harder to be taken seriously. This imbalance keeps you chasing, while they maintain control by never allowing depth in conversations. They may also pit you against others. Dropping hints like "so-and-so texts me all the time," they create competition. This triangulation makes you feel you're not doing enough. But their comparisons are designed to provoke insecurity, not reflect truth. They thrive on rivalry, enjoying the power of watching you try harder. It's a manipulation tactic disguised as casual talk. Another tactic is guilt. If you stop texting, they may accuse you of neglect. "You don't care anymore," they'll say, flipping the narrative. But when you text consistently, they accuse you of being needy. This double bind ensures you can't win. No matter what you do, they twist it. It's not about fairness, it's about keeping you under emotional pressure. They may also use your text as leverage. If you reach out first, they can choose whether to reward or punish. A warm reply feels like a gift. A cold one feels like rejection. Either way, they control the outcome. This game turns communication into a weapon. Instead of mutual connection, texting becomes a system of rewards and punishments. Sometimes they create patterns of unpredictability. You text first and sometimes get a fast, cheerful reply. Other times, silence for days. This inconsistency hooks you deeper. You cling to the memory of good responses, tolerating the bad. This cycle mirrors gambling. Occasional wins keep you invested. But it's manipulation, not chance. They're pulling the strings intentionally. At their core, narcissists always want you to text first because it affirms their control. It's not about love or even communication. It's about ego. Every message you send confirms they're still in your mind. It keeps the spotlight on them, where they believe it belongs. What seems like a small act is actually their daily dose of power. In the end, recognizing this pattern is freeing. Once you see why they demand you text first, the spell breaks. You realize their silence isn't power, it's weakness. True connection is mutual, not one-sided. When you stop playing the game, they lose the control they clung to. And that's when you reclaim your peace. One text you never send,